So I wanted to just chat today with y'all a little bit about people treat you the way they feel about you. And I know that this topic it may touch you, it may trigger you in some ways, and it may bring some relationships that you are currently involved in into perspective for you. And so regardless of the length of time and history that you've been involved in a certain relationship or friendship, whatever the relationship dynamic is, right? Um, Even though you may have a lot of history with a certain individual, you may really love a person, you may be the most loyal, generous, kind, and caring person that you know, yourself know, okay? But when you are involved with certain individuals and you really love this person and you're driven by the love that you have for these certain individuals because that's just how you are. um, but I want you to really think and really pay attention to and consider um, the relationships around you. Pay attention to your inner circle and really really take into consideration who's around you, who do you have around you, who's pouring into you, who's giving you their time, their dedication, who's really for you. And so some of you are involved in abusive relationships, that whether that be physical, emotional, psychological, or verbal. Abuse is still abuse, right? Some of you are involved in relationships where maybe someone just is emotionally unavailable to you. Some of you are involved in relationships with people who they don't invite you. You're never invited. Some of you are involved in relationships with friends who they treat you as if you are just you're not a factor to them. So they only call you and reach out when they want or need something from you. Sometimes it's a family member that's doing these things. Whatever the relationship dynamic is, pay attention. Pay attention to how people treat you. Some of you will stay connected to people for the sake of loyalty, and I know a couple of people like this. You will stay connected to people out of the loyalty that you have for them because you feel like that's just who you are. But I want to challenge you to really consider how loyal those people are back to you in return. A lot of times people who are extremely loyal to others, they often get the short end of the stick. So they usually do not receive any of the same type of loyalty that they give out and pour out and onto others. They never seem to receive any of that back. And so now it leaves you feeling drained, depleted, and resentful and bitter because over time you start to look and you discover and you start to think like, wow, I'm always pouring into this individual. Because trust and believe, even when you don't want to you know face the music per se, you're going to have a moment of pause to where you actually come to grips of what's really going on around you, even when you want to be in denial about it. And so pay attention. Pay very close attention to how the people around you treat you. People treat you exactly how they feel about you. So I'm saying that and I'm stressing that because I don't want you to be confused to what the relationship dynamic is with the people around you. I don't care how much they tell you they love you and they are just whatever their excuses are for how a person treats you that doesn't sit very well with you, because you will know. You get that feeling inside of you, that's gonna be your sign and indicator that you're not getting all that you should be receiving back in return from a certain individual person. That could be a person, place, or a thing. And so some of you may be on jobs where they treat you like crap. It is what it is. And so I don't want you to be confused when you're sitting around and you're paying attention, you're taking inventory and audit of um, you know getting, how people are treating you. Keep in mind this one thing. All relationships are meant to be reciprocal. Therefore, with that being said, if you were involved in a relationship, a friendship, you're attending a place, maybe it's a place, a building, maybe it's a job, whatever the case may be. If you're pouring in, you find yourself pouring in to a person, a place, or a thing, whatever it is. If you find yourself pouring in and never receiving any reciprocation back, that's a problem. Pay very close attention to that. Pay very close attention to relationships that you discover are not reciprocal. If the relationship's one-sided, you're being used. Period. All relationships are meant to be reciprocal. So if you find that you're pouring in all this to this person, but that person they a little bit lazy, they coming a little short with their end of the reciprocation, yeah, you might want to rethink that. So pay attention to the people around you. People are going to treat you how they feel about you. If somebody's abusing you, that's how they feel about you. If somebody's cursing you out, that's how they feel about you. If someone doesn't invite you, and then they even if they're telling you, oh, it was just a spur of the moment thing, that's how they feel about you. You weren't important enough to be invited. Maybe when your birthday comes around, everybody seems to suddenly forget about it, or they were too busy and just forgot. That's how they feel about you. Your birthday is not important enough to be remembered. And you notice that this is a pattern every year. People know when your birthday is. They just don't feel like you're worthy enough for it to be celebrated. Pay attention to those things. Pay attention to how people treat you. Because how they treat you is indefinitely how they feel about you.